Hello there, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Juan on Juan. It's your host, Juan Cardona. I am sitting here Tuesday morning, and let's just get to it. We have a lot to talk about this week. This is going to be my week six analysis, NFL. Um, very busy week. So, like I said, let's just jump right into it. All right. So I just wanted to start by giving you guys a little update on Jalen Ramsey. Um, by all indications, he seemed that he was gonna come back. It seemed like he was gonna play. It seemed like his back issues that he went to go see a second opinion on were, mitigated, like handled, I guess you could say. But ultimately, for a third straight week, he is out. You know, take it for what you may. It could be his back. It could be his trade request. I really just don't know how we're gonna end up with this one. This one has a lot of turns left to make, and it could be something that both team and player kind of come back together and say, you know what, let's just work it out. Let's fix this. Or this could be it, because now it's just 3 weeks we're going on where he's just not playing at all. Um, and the owner, Jaguars owner Shad Khan, reportedly said he thought the All Pro corner would suit up this week. So I just don't really see how this is gonna turn out. I don't think it's gonna turn out positively for the Jaguars. I think this is gonna be a position where the player's gonna end up ultimately winning and getting traded. Um, Next, we're gonna talk about, because I've kind of developed like a habit with these two teams specifically, being the Cowboys and the Ravens. First, we're gonna dive into the Cowboys. So the Cowboys went into a MetLife Stadium to play the Jets. They were 3-2 going against an 0-4 team, and the Jets just completely dominated. From the first half on, it was like a replica of the Cowboys' last game. They were behind the whole time. This score looks a lot closer than what it is. If you see here, the Jets here jumped into a 7-0 lead first quarter. Then they dropped 14. They were up 21. Cowboys dropped 6, 3, 13 on the end. They were right there at the end. The Cowboys were. They got stopped on the 2 point conversion to go for the tie. And it's just interesting. Dak really struggled. And I'm starting to see that when things aren't aligned to um, how game script or how the team is designed for, Dak really struggles and really kind of backs off. Um, I seen Skip Bayless calling him the ultimate warrior, and I get that, because he kept them in the game and he brought them back, but too little, too late. At some point you gotta put your best foot forward. You gotta come in on attack. You gotta come in from your week of preparation and be ready. Um, I find this to be unacceptable. You lose to a winless team. You give them their first W. I understand Sam Darnold is back. I understand he came back from mono. It's an inspirational and yada yada yada, all that good stuff. But I don't think this is a game that that should be considered as a loss for the Cowboys. This definitely should have been a win. Definitely should have came in and played to their ability, and not down to their opponent's ability. And we're gonna see like a theme here where there was a lot of bad calls, officiating wise, that kind of brought the Cowboys back specifically late into the game. And you'll see that as a recurring theme throughout the week. Um, and then Dez, after the game, kind of came out and kind of blasted Jason Garrett, which a lot of people have. Go figure. He has a bad game, and then all of a sudden you want to come in and blast him. And this was basically saying that the during training camp, what they do is basically the same thing that they do during the season, where it's just a bunch of pointless meetings, a bunch of endless meetings to sit there and talk about. Um, you see nothing to do with the players. Whenever training camp starts for the Cowboys, it's training camp until the season is over. A lot of pointless meetings, not enough time for the players to recover from injuries, preparing for the next game. Brian elaborated that he was sharing his thoughts for the guys who are afraid to speak. Just being honest, I thought out of all of my sacrifices that got me cut from the Cowboys, I'm for the players and I'm going to speak the truth. I speak for the guys who are afraid to speak. Uh, it's just interesting, you know? Looking like Jason Garrett's really gonna be the scapegoat. He's gonna get fired. He's gonna be the one that ultimately has to take the L. And I don't know. We'll see. Because I'm not convinced that Dak. I don't know what you guys think, but Dak to me is an above average quarterback who is at best slightly better than a Tannehill. I don't think Dak is somebody you're gonna win a Super Bowl around. I mean, by how the Cowboys have been paying players and how they're kind of going about it, they paid everybody but their quarterback. So you would think if you had a quarterback who was a Super Bowl caliber quarterback to take you there back, like every year have a give you a chance. Um, would you not pay him first and then take care of everybody else? I don't know. I don't know. All very interesting. And then to add to that, um, Amari got hurt. He didn't play really past like the second quarter, I want to say. So is Dak gonna have his full complement of weapons? Is that gonna be the next excuse once Jason Garrett gets ultimately let go? I feel like, is it gonna be well Dak's weapons aren't healthy, Witten was barely in football mode and yada yada yada. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the guy has multiple All Pros on the offensive line. He has an All Pro running back. A receiver now, tight end, another receiver in Gallup who's been just going off. Um, I don't know. I just don't know about Dak. My gut says no. Next game I want to talk about, or my next team that I've kind of grown an affinity for, has been the Baltimore Ravens. They went into this game 3-2. Bengals were 0-5, and I don't feel like the Ravens played down to the level of competition. And the only reason I can say that is because, well, Lamar Jackson just went crazy. I was watching the game live, and by the time the first quarter was, or no, the first, really Lamar's first drive, by the time that was ended, he was close to 60 yards rushing and a touchdown already. He had like the very first game like a 37-yard run. Then the touchdown itself that he ran in was a 21-yarder. So we're talking already off the bat 58 yards rushing and a TD. Like that's impressive. Um, and this is after the Bengals ran back the initial kickoff. So that 17-0, if you really want to look at it for layman's terms, it should be 10-23 because they didn't do much after that. Let me see if I can show you some Lamar. So Lamar Jackson actually did some very great things. Became the first quarterback since Michael Vick to run for 100 yards in the first half. Meaning he was going crazy, you know. Afterwards, he ended up becoming the first quarterback one of three quarterbacks to throw for 200 and rush for 150. Um, and it was just an overall great game by Lamar. He was average throwing it 234 yards, I want to say it was. Nothing, nothing crazy, not too many touchdowns as far as running it either. But just an overall really solid game by the man. I really was happy for him. I'm trying to find you guys the video to see if I think I can get you the run. Oh, well, let's watch a Maleficent, I guess commercial. This was the touchdown, 21 yards. This was after the earlier in the drive where he had a 37-yarder where he just weaved, like literally from left sideline to right sideline. And yeah, they ended up winning the game. Next one we're going to talk about is Tyreek. So Tyreek was able to come back. Great to see a player of his caliber finally come back and be healthy. This touchdown was insane. If I can pull it up. Oh, won't be able to pull it up. What about this one?
Mahomes steps up. Mahomes delivers. Touchdown.
Ended up having two TDs, so not too big of a game. 5 catches, 80 yards, two TDs. Um, they ended up losing the game, but I mean it's pretty good to have a piece like Tyreek back. So I would assume that they would go on and appreciate that. Next piece I want to talk to you guys about is the New England Patriots. They jumped to a 6-0, obviously on Thursday night, but I think it goes bigger than this. I feel like New England genuinely has a chance to go undefeated. They have like a 4 game stretch late in the season where maybe you see like what they really are. But look at these next games. You're gonna come out next week Monday night against the Jets. Okay, I get it's a division game. Then the Browns, and then look, this is like the 4 game stretch, 5 game stretch that I would tell you it's gonna be the deciding factor. They're gonna go into Baltimore, into Philly. Cowboys are coming to them. They're going to Houston, and then the Chiefs are coming to them. But then after that, you obviously got two cupcakes in the Bengals and the Dolphins. Um, I just, oh man, I was a huge Dolphins fan growing up, so obviously 17-0 obviously means a lot to me. I just don't know because that defense travels, defense goes places, defense will take you places. So for me, I don't see the Chiefs have been struggling. Maybe they get it together by early December, but that defense is really scary. That defense is really really scary, guys. Um, I guess we need to start giving a little respect to another undefeated team, which is going to be the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers. They ended up beating the Rams at the Rams, which I get it doesn't really mean much because of the fact that it's like they're still building their stadium. Um, but now the 49ers are 5-0. They're winning everybody. They're playing the opponents that are in front of them, and they're doing their job, which is winning. What that ultimately entails, what that ultimately means, I don't really know. I know that defense has been really top notch. They almost I don't know. I've never seen golf this bad. Like if I could, let me see if I can pull up what the hell this guy golfed through. Golf was limited to 78 passing yards on 24 attempts. 3.3 yards per attempt average. That is crazy to me. And I don't think it's really the secondary. I get Sherman is there. I get they got a couple young pieces. It's that defensive line, man. Let me tell you, that kid Bosa is a beast. Buckner, another beast. They got Solomon Thomas, who's now finally playing like the tweener thing that he should have been doing this whole time. Um, they got pieces, and I'm sure I'm missing 1 or 2 players. I'm off the top of my head, I can't really remember. Um, Armstead, I think. Yeah, Armstead. Yeah. So they're stacked, guys, and whew, I am terrified to see them, what they could ultimately become. We talked about undefeated teams. Let's talk about the winless. The Dolphins, something dear and near to my heart, or was. I'm not really a fan of them since about 2017. This was a tough one to watch. The only real highlight I could give you here from either team was gonna be Terry McLaurin, another great outing, 4 catches, 100 yards, 2 TDs. Love that kid, animal. Route running is precise. But the Dolphins had a chance. They came back from Washington. They scored that touchdown literally at the end, and they were a 2 point conversion away from winning this. They didn't even want to go for the tie. They just said, F it. Let's just go for the W. They threw some like bullshit ass screen to Kenyon Drake where he was a trips to left, and he came back towards the formation and he dropped it. Apparently, they said that Mark Walton was supposed to be in there, and Mark Walton was the one that took all the reps during practice during the week. But Kenyon was out there because Walton got hurt. I don't know. I've seen that play a couple times with the Patriots, so I've seen it work. I don't think it was going to work there, even if Drake had caught that, though. So they're obviously kind of solidified themselves to be 1 or 2 teams to be winless and to get that top pick or tank for Tua. The other one, the Bengals, continued that. And funny enough, if you see the Bengals schedule, because it's just funny, the Bengals and the Dolphins play December 22nd. That is going to be the Tua Bowl. I can guarantee you everybody's going to be talking about it. I can guarantee you that it is going to be a legitimate thing. I have no idea why Xavier Howard didn't play the other day. If he wasn't healthy after a bye week, I mean, I don't know what another 5 days, 6 days is gonna do for him. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Um, I'm not gonna go too deep into it because it's unfortunate, uh, and it's kind of merited, I guess, at this point you could say, if we're being fair. But Cam Newton has actually come. Not, he hasn't come out, but there has been a lot of rumors coming out. Um, that the whispers that were initially about maybe trading him before he got hurt started to come out and be a little bit stronger. 10 possible teams, a robust market. Kyle Allen has, I mean, he's 4-0, you know? 5-0 total, like overall, but 4-0 this season. You know, he took him from 2 losses to 4 wins. You know, that that's big. That means something. That did something for the team. The team is playing cohesively. Um, Christian McCaffrey's MVP candidate, hands down. Do you really need a Cam Newton? Tough to say no to that. It's tough to say no to a Cam Newton coming in and playing for you, fully healthy. Because I don't think we've really seen that the last 2, maybe 3 years. So how can we really merit that, gauge that, and say yes or no? It's tough for me. Um, they're on a bye this week. Ron Rivera had came out weeks ago and said that they won't they won't think or start to plan for um, the quarterback starter or anything like that until Cam was healthy. Reports have come out that Cam is healthy. He is fully cleared to practice. So, a time of reckoning is coming. That moment of decision is gonna have to come soon, and I'm very interested to see what they ultimately decide. There's a couple teams. I mean, the first one I thought of was Pittsburgh. If they really want this, if they're really going for this W, because of that Fitzpatrick trade, obviously initial that I'm more like interested and curious about what kind of compensation would a Cam bring back, because he's obviously been hurt. You don't know if he's necessarily damaged goods at this point. What would you get back for him? Like, would you do it for a fourth round pick? Like if someone comes into you and says, "Hey, I will give you we'll give you a third, but you have to send us a fifth." Like, do you do it? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe they like this kid Kyle Allen a lot, but they also drafted Will Greer, 3rd round. Um, they obviously thought that this was going to be a scenario that could play out. I don't think they necessarily thought that far ahead. Um, but something that we're going to have to definitely talk about in a couple of weeks. Next one we're going to talk about, this one's fun. Um, so this kid, Zach Brown, not a kid, but obviously a grown-ass man, uh, he started talking about Kirk Cousins before the game. I think this was like Thursday or Friday. Um, Probably the weakest part of the Vikings offense. He's what he called him. Um, and this was before the game that Kirk Cousins went up and threw 333 and 4 TDs for on a 38-20 win. So not the smartest thing to want to trash talk an opponent before the game. I feel like teams definitely look for bulletin board material, and that was a clear one. After the game, he obviously did not want to talk about it because the reporters were assholes and actually asked him the fucking questions about what the hell would happen. And he said he kept saying, "I'm here to talk about the game. Any other questions besides about Kirk? He did a great job today. He played good, you know. Hats off to him." Um, it, Funny enough, he ended up getting cut. He ended up getting cut. The Eagles, I don't know what the if I, they must have took that L and said it's because of you, Zach. Because if you don't go and flare up fucking Kirk Cousins, he don't come out and flame us for 333 and 4 TDs, man. But he got cut. They released him. They released them, I think, last night. That's insane to me. Insane to me. But that's kind of the name of the game, you know. Not really much you could do there. Last thing before we close up, if you guys want to follow my Twitter, more than welcome to. I wanted to show you guys a little bit about what went on this week as far as officiating. I know that's going to be a big talking point for everybody in ESPN and everything like that. Um, but it was really bad, and not in just one game. Um, look at this one. The officials flagged the Lions for lining up with 12 players leading up to a Packers touchdown. On the very next drive, the officials didn't flag the Packers for lining up with 13 players. Okay. I'm obviously biased towards the Packers, but the refs are taking this game away from the Lions. They really felt that. Look at this one. One of the most obvious pass interference you will ever see, and they didn't even consider it a flag. Oh, let me see if I can. Okay. 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 So we got four stills of straight. Look at that one. That I don't know how they call that a penalty. I really don't. He's going for the ball, and they both have a right to go for the ball. Why does one get priority as a defensive receiver? I really don't get that. Look at Jay Crawford. Wow, officiating determines another game. That NFL has a very serious problem, and they better find a fix. Michael Wilbon, phantom calls. Hand Packers a win. How long before the NFL issues its apology? Will Brinson. The NFL changed all its replays rules to avoid impacting games, and they just handed the Packers a game. They were really bad. Even players. Look at Steven Tulloch. Games like this make you not even watch the NFL. Everybody's hand is in the pot. Year in and year out, this happens to the Lions. Such crap at NFL. I think he used to play for the Lions also. Take that for what you may. Ryan Clark, and I'm going to show you what he's talking about. Barry Sanders spoke 5 words his entire career. If he feels he needs to tweet that many words, then you know you're dead wrong. This is like being awful enough that Michael Myers gives you a soliloquy before he offs you in one of those Halloween joints. Refs do better. Mike Freeman, one that I really respect, somebody that I really respect. The officiating in that game last night was an absolute disgrace. Nothing will blunt the popularity of the league. It's baked in. But if fans feel the games are officiating free-for-alls, then that would impact the ratings. Not even gonna read these other ones. Look at Tony Dorsett. Refs are playing too big a part in the fate of games, man. Those 2 penalties against the Lions were terrible. That was just two illegal contact penalties that were terrible. By the way, terrible. Look, this was the play with the 13 players, like very visibly 13 players. I don't remember the outcome. I was watching the game. I don't remember the outcome of this play, but I can't. That's just look. Oh, this was it. Look at Barry Sanders. This is sick. That is sickening. The NFL needs to look at a way to prevent that from happening. 2 phantom hands to the face calls really hurt us tonight. Yes, we could have scored TDs, but at Lions played too well to have the game end this way. I've never heard Barry talk. I don't. If he could be like literally calling me right now, and I would answer, and I wouldn't have no idea what the hell he sounds like. So for him to come out and tweet, that's interesting. Look at TJ Lang. In my 11 years involved with the NFL, I've never seen worse officiating than this year, and it's not even close. Clay Matthews, a current player. The storyline for the 2019 season continues to be the refs' inability to make the accurate and correct calls week in and week out. Al Riveron continues to blindly side with the refs and the current status quo. Something must change, zero accountability. I found that interesting because he specifically called out Al Riveron, which took over for Dean Blandino. And I've seen a lot of movement on Twitter about Dean Blandino being brought back because Al Riveron he's not doing a good job. For me, it's tough because I've seen the replacement refs, and that was god awful. That was the most terrible thing I've ever seen. So, until we get to that level, maybe I won't really care, but we'll see. That's gonna be it for me, guys. Thank you guys for listening to another episode with me. I appreciate you guys. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and can't wait for next week's. Peace.